Today, you learn how to grow as a person with different groups of people in your life. In fact, the mindsets and tactics we'll be talking about today are what has helped our personal mentors and role models dominate the media and dating industries, all while creating healthy relationships with different groups of people in your lives. I'm Choi, and I help you dominate your social, dating, and networking lives. If you're new here, on this channel we talk game, social circle building, networking, and personal development. So if you want to see more of these topics, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to clearly identify the inner and outer frameworks of becoming the most successful version of yourself while creating winning relationships with the different groups of people in your life. Let's dive in.
When are you gonna make a Facebook page?
I have my own limiting beliefs. My own limiting beliefs, like, feel like not many people will like me. Obviously, it's like, I know it's irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
We know it's irrelevant. It's I just gotta make one.
Dude, I know, dude.
And like, all it takes is just make one, and like, you gotta start somewhere, right? I know that, you know that, but I'm just like, oh, what if not that many people like me? What if I'm like asking for too much for people to like my Facebook page? But now I'm just like, I think it's just like, yeah, like comes down to priorities, right? Like biggest thing I learned from immersion, like this whole program is like, yeah, like, dude, what's your priorities? So I guess like, yeah, like I keep saying like, oh, grind, hustle, but like deep down, I need to step up.
You know what we're gonna do today when we get home?
Facebook page?
Yeah, we're gonna make Facebook pages.
Oh, what if they judge me? I'm like, the thing is like, me just thinking that is disgusting because like, if someone's my friend, they'll support me no matter what. And that's the number one way I could find out who my real friends were, because I lost like 99% of my friends, right? In college and like in Korea and everywhere. It's like, if they're like true homies, true homegirls, they're supporting no matter what. And it's like happy for me right now. It's like, I can't believe you're going to Vegas and like doing this, that's awesome. So like, and like she's like one out of like hundreds of people that actually support me. So many people judge me for my YouTube stuff and like all the other things. And like, that's when I realized like, oh no, y'all gotta go. Like, we can't just hang out anymore. We can't just kick it. We're not, you know, like I've seen the behind the stage. And I'm like, I need more people who will help me in my life, which I will help you. Catching up's good, but like, I would rather like do that in person. So like, yo, let's meet up and like, let's catch up. If we can't, then like, yo, let's set up a time to like catch up and stuff. Then we'll have fun there. But like, just like, how was your day? Or like, how are you? Like, no, like, if you want to catch up, tell me. Let's get to the point. So I've been doing that too. It's so much like healthier on your like mental capacity and like your time and your effort. Like, you'll waste so much less time.
That's so interesting actually, because like I've been kind of going in the opposite direction in a way.
Really?
Yeah, because like for me, like I used to be like very, very to the point where I'm just like, yo, like if we're gonna talk, like let's talk about a thing. One thing that I realized that it's actually a really like masculine thing to do, like on the masculine and feminine energy spectrum of things. It's like, because as dudes with like masculine energy, we're like, let's get to the point, and then girls are more like, let's talk and like do all this shit.
Yeah.
In any case, like, but one thing I realized is that, you know, one thing that I've taken a lot of joy to recently is like just talking to people and just hitting up people for no reason, just to let them know I love them.
For sure.
Be like, yo, what's up, dude? I love you.
I do that too, yeah.
You know, and yeah, like, I don't know, because I guess like it doesn't really contradict what you were saying with like not like talking to, you know, like not responding to like things that are stupid or like whatever. But like for me, like recently, like I've just like started doing this a lot where like I'll message people. I'll be like, yo, what's up? I love you. Or like I'll call people just to talk to them.
That's awesome.
And just to see where they're at.
Yeah.
And because at a certain point, I realized that if you don't do that, like, what's the point of this whole thing? Like at the end of the day, if you're not connected to people, like in a real way, not just in like a business, like let's offer each other value, but like in a way where it's like, I love you, you love me, let's connect as people. Like what the fuck's the point? You can build this whole thing, you can have an awesome life, but then like if you're not connected to people, I realized that like, yo, what the fuck, man? That's even what Gary Vaynerchuk talks about in Crush It. It's like, these relationships that you build are like one-on-one relationships with people.
For sure.
You know? And that's one huge thing that I've gotten out of MITT recently, is like actually connecting with people. Because I realized I used to think that like building a following and building movement was about having all these people follow you, and you're kind of like a leader of a cult, kind of like the way that Owen like leads RSD. I really used to think it was that, because that's what I grew up on. But then what I realized more recently is that actually the people who build communities that work over the long term, that really win in the long game, are people who really care about the community and they're a part of it, and they build relationships one-on-one. You know, it's like in person.
Oh, for sure.
Like in person, and you hang out with all these people, and you actually talk to them one-on-one, and it's like, yo, we have this thing, like this friendship or this relationship. But also what Gary Vee talks about in Christian is like you do that, but online. But it's still like this one-on-one thing. It's not like you just put out content and a bunch of people follow you.
Yeah, for sure. Like he has a video, like title is called like Social Media is Human, and I'm like, yo, that sounds cool, but like, I don't really get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he talks about it, I still didn't get it, but now I see it. It's like. And I see this with guys like Luke, or like I've personally done it, or like Max, when like you interact with the audience, you'll just like genuinely like, it's better for like your content and your brand and like who you are. People just like even us, we're talking about like we're gravitating more towards Luke now because now he's like interacting with his audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like social media, it's not just like this magic pill where you can like put shit out and like people will like follow you and like head over heels. You still gotta like build individual relationships.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it'll make them feel special. And now like you have this like actual connection going on, not just like this follower kind of thing.
Where for example, even as you go like to a grocery store and you're doing the checkout, you can just go by and be like, oh, how's it going, blah, 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 whatever. But you can really actually be there for that person, for that moment. Because in that moment, you're spending time with that person anyways. You're interacting with them. So why not fully give yourself to that person in that moment? And one thing I realized recently is that you can do that in every interaction you're in. You know, like even as just the cashier, you might never see her again, or him, but it doesn't matter. For those 30 seconds, you have to interact with that person anyways. So why not create a cool thing?
For sure.
You know?
And it's not for everyone either. Like you don't have to necessarily do that. It's just like your choice. But I've realized like, it's like that itself creates like a win-win situation, right? Like just like cashier, like we're just talking about like going to restaurants and like joking around with the waiters and like waitresses. Like what I personally love to do, and like all my friends in college know this, I love to flirt with old ladies at like these like chicken bowl places, like, and like I just so for fun, but I realized like they start giving me like extra rice and chicken,
right?
And like it was like I wasn't even expecting that. I'm just like I'm just flirting with them because I find it fun, not in like a creepy way, but I was just like, oh my god, I totally love the way like your scarf matches your outfit, like you look sexy, you look awesome, and like they'll kind of laugh because like they never get that, and like at their point in their lives, like most of the times like their husbands like don't give them compliments, they don't get compliments because they're past their primes, right? And like, and I know that, so I'm like, yo, like I just want to have fun. One thing is like I genuinely try to find something like interesting about them. And then like I also like want everyone in that like vicinity to like have that good energy going. Cause I see like, especially like around the streets, on college campus, whatever. Like you see people like walking around with like these like, you can feel the aura, right? It's like that dark like soul, and like people could be having bad days, but also it's like I see that so much to the point that I'm convinced that like some people are just miserable. I'm like, life's not that bad. Life's actually good. Like, let's have fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not always like that either. Like, sometimes I have to force myself. Sometimes I'm like one of those like gloomy people. But like, while I'm in a good mood, I'm like, I want to give that off. Cause like, I have this, I want to share it because I have so much.
One thing I learned from Maze just yesterday, actually, he was talking about how like, there are a few people on the boot camp that basically their sticking point, so to speak, was that when they interacted with people, they wouldn't fully give themselves.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't fully show their personality. Even though they have amazing personalities, they're super funny, they're super fun, they can be really engaging, but they wouldn't be fully there because they're insecure.
Yeah.
That they might get rejected or people might not like them. Because you know sometimes it's like if you're a personality that's a little out there, which is like everyone should have that. It's just I feel like everyone tones themselves down in a lot of situations. But like
definitely, yeah.
You know the thing is like you're insecure that people will reject you, so you don't fully give yourself.
Yeah.
And what Maze was talking about is he was saying that, dude, when you don't fully give yourself, that's like the not nice thing to do. Like basically what Maze was saying is that the nice thing to do is to fully give yourself, is to show your whole personality. That's like the better thing to do for everyone. It's like by not showing who you are and giving yourself 100% when you're in interactions, it's almost like you're taking from people because you're preventing people from experiencing you.
I agree. Okay, so it's actually funny because that's what Spenny and I talked about like a week ago, right? We're talking about like her viral video, right? The feminist reveals shocking truth about pickle bar seminar. And like she was telling me like, yeah, it took me like literally 2 years, 3 years to put that out. I'm like, holy shit, really? Like I knew like she was like hesitating to put that one out because she talks about it in her video, but she said like, yeah, it took me like 2 or 3 years to put that. I'm like, holy fuck. So like, what made you put it out finally? She's like, oh, I realized that like people need to see this, and I was being selfish by not putting it out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I had the same thought about my medium blogs, right?
Fuck.
My medium blogs that I talk about social media or social anxiety. And I told Danny, I'm like, yo, like I want to put this out, but I kind of feel like nervous. Like, I don't know, like I like not that many people know I like master social anxiety. Like, I don't know if people will read it. Then Danny's like, bro, you're being selfish right now. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, somewhere, some kid around the world is struggling with social anxiety and needs someone to relate to, or needs some guidance and strength. You're being selfish, but not putting that out and helping them. I'm like, fuck, you're right. So that's how I put it out. Going back to the personality thing, yeah. You're not being you, or like your best you, and like being fun and like offering value, or like being a cool person.
Yeah.
That's like, you're not doing yourself justice, and you're not doing the person justice.
Yeah. And for me, like it's like, when you're coming from your vision, like what you really want to accomplish, it's when you're coming from something that's like bigger than you, then you'll really do whatever it takes. You know, because ultimately, like, it's exactly what you were saying. When you have like something like, say like you wanted to post your thing about social anxiety and you didn't want to post it because you're like, oh, well, you look bad, all that kind of stuff, it makes it about you.
That's true.
But when you make it about helping the world, then it becomes obvious what you have to do, and you're like, okay, I'll post it, because in the off chance that it might make a difference in someone's life, that would be so significant.
And it did. Like, someone reached out to me, right? Because I linked all my social media there, and I guess like they follow my YouTube channel, and someone commented on it. They're like, hey Brian, I'm struggling with massive social anxiety.
Wow.
When's your next post about social anxiety gonna be? Thank you very much. I love what you do. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I'm reading. I'm like, oh my god, like someone reads this shit. Danny was right.
Yeah, dude. No, it's so crazy. I did the same thing once on Snapchat randomly when I decided I was gonna drop out of school. I was like, yo, I'm dropping out of school. If you are thinking about not going to college or you want to drop out of school, but you have trouble, like maybe tell, because it was just after I told my parents. I was like, oh, if you have trouble telling your parents, let me know. And then this one person hit me up. One person. Because I was like, oh, probably no one will hit me up. But this one person hit me up.
That's crazy.
And I was able to like help out that person for a little bit. You know, we had a conversation. It was awesome.
That's dope.
And I was like, yo, dude, like, yeah, by not putting yourself out there, it's like you might miss a chance of like helping someone or like making a difference.
You're being selfish.
You're being selfish, exactly.
It's crazy because I never thought about it that way. But it's like, yeah, you're being selfish. Like, give. What you like? I think it was Tony Robbins who said this. I forget the exact quote, but it's something like, if you're good at something, don't just like have it to yourself, like share it to the world. And like that's how I look at it, because I've had like a lot of mentors like throughout my journey, like trying to improve myself, right? And like they just like give all the information for free. They taught me all that stuff. Now like once I get to a certain point, even now, like I know certain things that not that many people know. It's my turn to like just give.
Yeah, dude.
Not give back, but just give.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just giving, not giving back, but just giving.
I realized that too recently. I was like, dude, there are certain things, because you know how like sometimes you're in a situation and you have a perspective on the situation that not many people have, and it doesn't mean that you're smarter or better than them. It just means that you spend more time studying this thing.
For sure.
You know, so I realized that when you have that, you should do everything you can to share that. Like, not push it on people, but share it so it's out there.
For sure.
Because like the way that you found out about everything, the way that I found out about everything is someone shared it. Like someone wrote a book, or someone made a video, or someone did a talk, and then I saw that, and it opened up my mind.
For sure.
And I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. But if that person was selfish and didn't do that, I would have never gotten that.
Exactly.
Right? So now, when we have certain things that we know, like we have to do that too.
I don't think anyone really wanted to hear what I wanted to say. Dude, you haven't posted anything, like share some value, like do it. And it's good for you and other people. And like, like Long didn't want to hear that. Like Victor didn't, well, he appreciated it, but like,
yeah,
you can use my fork.
Oh, thanks, bro.
But like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I knew I had to say these bitter things, because if I didn't, it wasn't helping any one of you. And and even with me, I wouldn't have like forgiven myself because I'm like, oh, I'm seeing these guys not like posting, and like it's not just like sharing value, but it also like getting you in the rhythm and like keeping yourself accountable and like other aspects in life too. So I was like, yo, like let's do it, and like that's what I told Victor. I'm like, yo, I want you guys to keep me accountable too, because I'm always reaching out to you guys, but none of you guys are like telling me to post, because I'm slacking too. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take certain actions. Like, I removed certain people from the group. I don't want to. Like, no one wants to do that. Like, I just want everyone to be happy. But I'm just like, yo, like, sometimes I gotta do this. Like, killer instinct.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. Like, it's like you were saying earlier. That's the win-win thing to do in that situation.
Exactly.
Like, when you're messaging me and you're like, yo, you haven't posted in the group for a while, that keeps me accountable, and that's good for me. You know? And then, because then I can face all the excuses that I have. Like things like, oh, it's because I didn't have time. And then it's like, I tell myself like, what the fuck? I didn't have time to share some value with the people that I'm really close to.
It takes 10 minutes out of 24 hours.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, if you don't have time for that, what the fuck are you doing with your time that's more important than that?
So when you say you don't have time, you're saying you don't have time for that. And when you say you don't have time for that, is also saying like what your priorities are. Instead of like hit me hard when Gary Vee said like he doesn't want to be exposed. And like, well, no one wants to be exposed, right? Then he said like, no, it's not about like being exposed by like my fans or like my audience. It's being exposed by myself. So like I guess like so many people ask him like what motivates me. It's like that's it. Like I don't want to like be exposed by me when I'm always saying like hustle and grind. But if I'm not hustling, then like I can't live with myself. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Because all these things is about you. Like,
Yeah.
if you like complaining, you know, like you'll hear things in self-help like, don't complain, don't gossip. But the thing that I realize is that not complaining is not about me complaining to you. It's about me complaining to myself.
Oh.
It's about when you wake up in the morning and you're like, fuck man, I don't want to get out of bed. You're complaining. You're not telling anyone, but you're still complaining. That's what it's about. You know, or like gossiping. It's not necessarily about me gossiping with you, but if you're gossiping in your mind, you're still gossiping. It's the same shit. It's just you didn't express it verbally. But it's always about you. You know, and I realized that because that's when like my level of self-awareness kind of like really went up. And I was like, holy shit, dude. Self-awareness is about being aware of what you're thinking as you wake up in the morning and you have all these excuses to not get out of bed, or you're feeling all these feelings and being aware of how you feel and why you feel this way, why you want to get out of bed. And you realize that, oh, I'm complaining instead of being grateful in this like the first thing in the morning. You know, that's what self-awareness is to me. It's like I wake up, oh shit, I'm complaining, I'm not being grateful. Or like, and all the time, like, oh shit, I'm gossiping in my head. Oh shit, I'm thinking about this. Or like mental processes that you have. Maze always talks about stacking your wins.
Yep.
And I realized I don't do that. Like, he's like, in his mind, and I can really see it now, because sometimes he'll do it out loud to illustrate. He'll do one small action. He'll like call a waiter over, and he'll be like, win. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
That's fucking awesome, dude.
You know?
I love that.
Yeah, and everything he does, he's like, dude, everything is a fucking win. Take everything as a win. Like anytime you do something, like it's like, oh, say you're trying to go somewhere, you're trying to socialize, you go to a school event, and it's like, dude, you walk out of your house, win. You're going there, win. You walk in the door, win. You say hi to the first person, win. Win, 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 win. And it creates this upward spiral. And because if you don't do that, you just go down and down and down.
And that's how you like that's how you're not burn out either. You know what I'm saying? Because like we're awards critics, and like we're always like, and like I have like I know this because I have like the worst problem with this. I'm so harsh on myself that like Danny would tell me all the time, especially when I was in Hong Kong, I'm like kicking myself in the foot. I'm like, bro, like Brian, what are you doing? Like you're like going to these high-end places and like you're getting pulled in, like getting free drinks thrown at your face. Like just because like you didn't get like massive results doesn't mean like you're like fucking awful. So like I realized like, and like I burned out thinking that way. So like he kind of woke me up. It's like if you like keep like being so harsh on yourself, you'll burn out so fast.
Yeah.
So like I loved it. Like every small victory, I can see why like it's like leading up to the upward spiral. For
yeah,
sure.
dude. And it's like the way that he does it is he says like 1,000 out of 10. This is amazing. This is incredible. He's like, dude, when you do something, it's not just a win. It's 1,000 out of 10. Everything you do, and it's a way of life. Like imagine you could change your whole mental dialogue such that the whole day, everything that you do, in your mind, you literally feel like, dude, 1,000 out of 10. That was fucking awesome. And imagine you feel about that. Like you feel like everything. That's the way you feel about it. How amazing your life would be.
Pretty damn amazing.
Isn't that crazy? And what I realized is that I'm like, fuck, man. Like my mental dialogue is like pretty far from that right now. There are so many things that like I wake up, I'm like, fuck, or like I'm like, oh no, I didn't do this too well. Like I didn't do this. Like, oh yeah, I made this video, but it's like it's not that good. You know, like even when I'm shooting videos, I realize that I'm always criticizing, instead of being like, I took out the camera, fucking awesome. I'm fucking shooting, this is fucking awesome. Yo, dude, I said this, I did the intro, dude. This is fucking awesome. This is amazing. And if I actually thought like that, it's not about like you can say it to like emphasize it and to get used to it. But like the point is like I'm not saying it in my mind, and because I'm not saying it in my mind, it prevents me from like massively going up.
No, for sure. What I like to do is like with the small ones. I never thought about the small like micro ones, but with big ones, I would always like do like a little like small celebration. So like, let's say like I put out a video after like editing it so well, doing all the transitions, do the color grading, finally put it out. I will like do these certain things. I read this in a book. Like if you like, cause like it's kind of like muscle memory, and like your brain will like associate with like the feeling of victory. So like what they like this one book, they give an example. Like do certain like things that are like make you associate. So what I like to do is I squeeze my fist really hard, and I breathe in really deeply, and I still like I try to yell. If I can yell, I'll be like yes, breathing deep, and like and kind of like you kind of get that adrenaline after like putting out a video, and like I do that. I literally do. When I put out a video, it literally feels like I'm coming. Like I tell this to people, and they're like, Brian, what the fuck? I legit feel like I'm like ejaculating. I'm like, yo, this is awesome. I'm putting it out, right? So like do those things, and like later like you kind of associate with that awesome feeling. Then like I want to win more. Let's keep doing. On the flip side is like, okay, everything's a win, but also how can you do better?
Yeah.
It's like the balance of like, okay, be happy and grateful, but don't be content.
Yeah. And the way you can do that like in your mind, and the way that they do it on boot camp is like they'll do like feedback sandwiches. Like, and this is really powerful, like talk to yourself too, is when you look at like something you did, you look at the win, then you look at what you learned from it, and then you look at the win. Like literally, Maze doesn't even call it like, oh, the bad part of my night, or like what I didn't do well. He calls it like the constructive part, or what I learned is. Because that's really what it is.
Yep.
When you fail, it's like you're not failing, you're just learning some shit. You know the expression like, you either win or you learn how to win? You gotta love that. But the point is like, you know, even that, like when you start using language like, oh, what I didn't do well, it actually says a lot about you, and a lot about how you think. You know, because like imagine like you could think like, and I see this in Maze, dude. When Maze thinks, like I can literally see his thought patterns where he's like, what did I learn? This is my win. Fucking win. Fucking win. It's so crazy, and it makes such a difference, and you can feel it in his vibe. You know,
that's why like
that's how he thinks.
In my field reports, so in Vegas Immersion they give you a template, right? Let's say did well, then not do well, lessons, things to work on next time. So I changed the template to like did well. Instead of did not do well, I said to improve on. So when I did that, it just makes it like not like I'm not like trying to like find a whole like easy way out, but I'm also not in a negative way. Okay, what can I do better, rather than like kicking myself in the foot. It's like, oh, what did I do terrible? No, like, okay, what can I improve on?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that little mindset shift that'll like make an immense difference.
Yeah.
So like as I'm writing field reports, I'm not like mad at myself. You know what I'm saying? So like, but also another flip side is if you have a real sticking point that you're really having a hard time improving on, that should annoy you so much that you want to like fix it.
Yeah.
So like Hansel talks about this. He's like, guys, if you have a sticking point, how to like trump that plateau is make the sticking point annoy you so much to the point where you can't put up with it anymore, then you want to improve. So like life is all about like finding the perfect gray area, right? Well, there is no perfect gray area. Like you gotta find that spot, that range where it works the best for you. Everyone like responds differently, you know? Like Luke, for example, he likes to kind of like have that like reverse approach anxiety. When he doesn't approach, he like beats himself down. I tried that, it worked short term, but I realized like long term it didn't really work. So what works for me is like to say hi to everyone. Then eventually like my brain goes numb. So eventually like it becomes better. So that's what works for me. So like for everyone like it works different. You know what I mean? Like you work, you respond to different stimuli, I respond to different stimuli. So like find like your own thing.
Yeah. And the thing that Mace says too about like stacking your wins that I think is awesome is that because it's not just like some woo thing where you're like, oh, like celebrate your wins, be happy with everything you do. It's like when you do that, when you actually like every little thing, because you know just now you're like after you put out a video you're like yes, like you could actually train yourself to feel that way about every little thing that you do. Every little thing you could feel so awesome about it.
Sure.
It's just about your mental habits. And if you like, I've been thinking a lot about this lately because I'm like, dude, if I could train myself, that literally every little thing I do feels amazing. It feels like I have this massive victory every single thing. That would be so amazing. You know, like, and the thing is, not only would it feel amazing because it feels amazing and you're in an upward spiral and you're in a flow state, it actually opens up your faculties to learn and be creative.
Sure.
You become more creative and like it's just like you learn faster, you learn more, you absorb more information, you absorb like the experiences more. It's like it's not just to feel good, it's actually practical as well.
Thank you for watching. Now if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more videos like this, definitely subscribe to this channel. All you need to do is hit the red subscribe button below this video and click on the bell icon right next to it. That way you get notified every time a new video comes out fresh out of the bakery. Question of the day: with which groups of people in your life do you want to improve the relationships the most in order to succeed? Is it with your friends? Is it with strangers you run into on a daily basis? Let us know in the comments below.